Now, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I think my voice should be fine now. Is my voice audible and my video visible? I think both should be fine now. You can just give me a thumbs up and you can, yeah. So just press the like button once so that the others can also join. So if you press like, the recommendation will go to people and they can also join in this live session. So the agenda for today is, guys, interview questions. And what we are going to do is we are going to take some questions and try to understand what is that interviewer is expecting from you in that. So where from this comes is basically, in my experience, I have met some data science aspirants and some students, not one actually, many, who come to me and say that I answered all the questions on technical front, I explained my project well, and then I met with a senior person in third round and I was rejected. Everything was going fine, but I was rejected. So why it happens is there are some of the questions for which you are not prepared mentally. And most important than that, you do not know what is that interviewer is trying to access, or what is that interviewer is trying to find out, which part of your personality he is interested in. Okay. What we are going to do is we are going to take 10 questions and understand what is the intent of the interviewer in asking those questions. Once you understand the intent, right, you can easily frame your question. So for every question we will have 3 slides. First slide will be the what is the question, then I will give you some time to think in your mind what do you think is the intent of the interviewer, and then I will next slide I will tell you what is the intent of the interviewer, and third slide I will show you one demo answer. Okay. So 10 questions, 3 slides for each question. First slide question, second slide intent, third slide a demo answer. With that in mind, let's get started and let's take the first one. So in an interview, if an interviewer is asking you this, then what do you think is the intention of the interviewer? So the question here is, what would you do if your model performs well on the training set but poorly on the test set? So what is that you will be judged on? What do you think? So in these 10 questions, I will put some uh, technical questions, and most of these will be non-technical questions. So this is one example of technical question. So two things you have to tell me in comment. One is what is the intent of asking this, and second is what is the demo answer, or what would be your answer. So the question is, what would you do if your model performs well on the training data but poor on the test? No, don't give me one word answer like overfitting. Think that this question is being asked to you. What would be your response? What will you tell in the interview? Will you say one line? Don't be lazy, guys. Please. This is not a lazy exercise. This is an exercise where we learn something through the discussions. Okay. Will you say to interviewer one word overfitting? What will you say? And if you are saying overfitting, then also it's a wrong answer. Interviewer is asking you what would you do when you are saying overfitting. Overfitting is a phenomenon, not an action that you will take, right? You have to understand the intent. If you understand intent, you can easily frame your answer. So let me go to the intent. What interviewer is trying to test is basically your understanding of overfitting and model generalization, as well as how you handle model issues. This is what the intent is. Now you can frame your answer. So I'll give it a minute when you frame your answer. Meanwhile, I'll go to one demo answer after maybe 45 seconds or so. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for some answers in the live chat. So if you read the intent carefully, right? What interviewer is trying to understand here is see the question one more time. What would you do if your model performs well on the training set but poorly on the test set? Obviously, as some of you are saying, it is an overfitting problem. He or she wants to understand if you know what is overfitting, and he or she wants to understand if you know what to do when it is overfit model, right? So a demo answer could be something like this. This suggests the model is overfitting to the training data. To fix this, I would try regularization like L2, simplify the model, increase the amount of training data, or use cross-validation. The goal is to improve generalization to unseen data. So here in this answer, if you see, right, what I'm covering my knowledge of overfitting. I'm covering high level various topics that can help to bring down the overfitting. And last line, I'm covering what is the objective, what is the how how the model is said to be a good model. So I'm saying the goal is to improve generalization to unseen data. Got it? And I want you to write answers. Don't be lazy because this is not a lazy exercise. If you don't write, if you don't discuss openly, you will not know what is problem with your answer. So what is the question here? What would you do if your model performs well on training or on test? Intent is, and you're checking your understanding of overfitting and model generalization. Answer is this. Let's go to the next one. Suppose this question comes to you. Tell me about a time when you had to explain complex technical concept to a non-technical audience. What do you think interviewer is trying to check here? What is the intent? First, we will try to understand intent, then we will go to the answer. What is the intent here? Because if you understand what is being tested through this question, then you can frame your answer. Maybe it may not be 100% right, but it will be at least in some shape. Intent of storytelling. Yes. What is my answer here? What interviewer is testing? Your comm skills, particularly with non-technical stakeholders. In one way, your storytelling ability, your soft skills, your way to talk to the non-technical audience, right? What could be a demo answer? It could be during a project where we build recommendation engine. I explained the model's concept to the marketing team by using an analogy, comparing it to how a shop owner makes personalized recommendations based on customer purchases. I used visual aids like charts to make the concepts clear. So, what in my answer, what I'm telling, how through my storytelling skills or how through my soft skills, how through my com skills, I'm able to convince my ideas or bring in my ideas on the table to non-tech audience. The next is, can you give an example of a time you failed in a project and how did you handle it? So sometimes when these type of questions come, people are not prepared for it and they are it doesn't go very well. Okay, so give me an example of the time you failed and how did you handle. What do you think is the intent here? What is being tested here? So the intent here is your ability to reflect on and learn from failure. Fine. So what you have to do, you have to frame your answer in such a way that how you, what is your ability to learn from failure? So can you think of a demo answer for this question? Can you give an example of time you failed on a project and how did you handle it? Can you think of a demo answer? Intent is this. What can you say here in the answer? So here is the answer. For example, I was once underestimated the impact of outliers in the data. During a forecasting project, the model's performance suffered. So we had to start over. I took responsibility. So this is important here. You took responsibility of your failure and then communicated to the issue to stakeholders and implemented better data reprocessing, which lead to a more robust model. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to give an example of my failure. Then I'm trying to take the ownership, which is very important. And then I'm trying to tell to people that this is what was missed, this is what was not right, and I'm taking an approach to make it right. So three things I'm covering. Anybody can fail. So I'm a human being. I failed. I understood what was failed. I took the ownership and I corrected. So this is the intent of this question. Ability to reflect and learn from failure. Let's see the next one. Have you ever had to manage a conflict within the team? How did you resolve it? So what is the intent here? Intent is basically conflict resolution, leadership, and teamwork skills. So the question in front of you is, have you ever had to manage a conflict within a team and how did you resolve it? So do you have anything in mind that you will answer when this comes to you? Because all these things will come to you at random, at maybe when you do not expect it. So what would be your answer to this? Any answer you can think of? So one answer I can think of here is, maybe we can give one example where there was some conflict in the team and we helped in resolution. So I have written here, two team members disagreed on which clustering algorithm to use for customer segmentation. I mediated by letting each present their case, and we decided to run both methods and compare performance. By focusing on data-driven decision making, we resolve the conflict and choose the best performing algorithm. So you can talk in your own language, but this is the message that need to go. Here, three things are happening. First is you are acting as a leader who went and solved the conflict. Second is, um, there is something better outcome of this. So it is basically best of both the worlds, best of both the people. And then you are a good team player who helps in conflict resolution. So this could be one of the demo answer. Next is, how do you ensure that your analysis is both actionable and understandable to business stakeholder? This is a pretty important question here. We normally don't pay attention to this. How do you ensure that your analysis is actionable and understandable to business stakeholders? So the intent here is your ability to present actionable insights in an understandable way. So what we are trying to say here is, whatever is the finding of your model, whatever is your finding of your analysis, right? The target audience here is the business stakeholders. So what they are interested in, they are interested in just the actionable insights. What can I do to improve my business? That's all they are interested in. So if you are in that kind of scenario, what you need to take care is, keep the details of your uh, model side and just talk in terms of business what can be done. So for example, a demo answer is this. I focus on the business impact and present insights with visualizations. For instance, you have to give one example. If I'm showing trend in customer behavior, I use graphs and translate technical findings into actionable recommendations, right? So they are not technical people. They are not somebody who will understand a lot of charts, etc. You just tell them what needs to be done. Actionable insights like focus marketing efforts on this segment for better engagement and things like that. So this way you communicate actionable insight to the people. Let's see the next one. Tell me about a project where you had to make a trade-off between depth of analysis and time constraint. All of the questions I have thought through and put, and all of the questions I have seen somewhere or other, hence I have put. So here, the question is, have you been in a situation where there is a trade-off between depth of analysis and time constraint? And it is a very, very common scenario in industry, right? So people want you to do things fast and you need time to produce good results. So this is a conflicting situation. So how do you manage this situation? So what is the intent of interviewer here? The interviewer is testing prioritization and decision making under pressure. Okay, so let's go back to question. Tell me about a project where you had to make a trade-off between depth of analysis and time constraint. What you are being tested upon is prioritization and decision making under pressure. What could be one demo answer? You have to show how you made right decision under pressure and prioritize the things. For example, in a project analyzing sales data, we had a tight deadline. So I focused on top factors affecting sales rather than deep diving into every possible variable because you have less time. We delivered actionable insights on time, and once the immediate results were implemented, we revisited the deeper analysis. So you are taking care of prioritization, you are taking care of getting things out of the door, and you are taking care of things getting delivered on time. So basically, you are prioritizing under pressure and doing the right thing. And that is what you need to say. Okay. Next is tell me about a time when a project you're working on has shifting priorities. So sometimes what happens is the leadership tell you our priority is this, and in between the project they will tell you priority is shifted from this to this. So this kind of scenario, how do you handle? What interviewer is testing? Your flexibility and ability to manage changing project goals. Okay. So your flexibility and ability to manage changing project goals. What could be one example answer? In one project, we shifted from customer segmentation to forecasting sales trend due to change in business strategy. I quickly adapted the data collection and analysis method, focusing on key features that would still be relevant for both goals, right? So here, what I'm doing, I'm shifting my goal post, but I'm ensuring that whatever work has been done is not lost, right? We delivered a forecasting model on time while staying flexible for future adjustments. So this is again leadership skill. Your goalpost is shifted. You are not losing your previous work completely, but managing to deliver. Fine. These kind of questions, this is how you have to answer. Next is if you had only 48 hours to complete a data science project and didn't know where to start, how do you approach it? This can come to you as a bomb if you are not prepared for it. So what interviewer is trying to understand here is your ability to manage a project, your ability to plan a project basically. Okay. So time management, prioritization, and quick thinking is what he's trying to test here. What is the question? You have 48 hours to implement a data science project. What is the test here? Time management, prioritization, and quick thinking. Right? What you can say here? I would first define the objective clearly with the stakeholders and determine what's most essential for success. Then I would focus on building a baseline model using basic clean features. I would deliver the first insights quickly and use the remaining time for model improvement for feature engineering, right? So this question covers time management, priority, and quick thinking because you have very, very less time and you are delivering something kind of MVP and then, improving that MVP. So this answer covers those three aspects on which you are being tested. So you have to understand the intent and then you can frame your answer. That is what the theme of today's live. Tell me about a time you had to balance short-term needs with long-term goals in a project. So this is again a very normal kind of scenario. Short-term needs and long-term goals may not be always in sync. So you need to balance both. What is being tested upon? Strategic thinking and balancing competing priorities. So you will have competing priorities always in your work. So how do you create strategy? How do you do strategic thinking, right? You can say something like this. During a sales prediction project, the business needed forecasting model to support upcoming inventory decisions. I delivered a simple model with essential features in the short term while planning to build a more sophisticated model with deeper analysis after the immediate needs were met. So, what you are doing here, priorities are shifting, right? So, you are also adjusting based on the shifting priorities and you are not panicking. You are showing your leadership skill, courage, communication skill, management, strategic thinking, right? And this is, I think, the last one. What would you do if your model's predictions significantly diverged from what stakeholders expected? So, interviewer is trying to put you in a panic situation. You have built the model. Now you go to the stakeholder, but your model's performance is totally away from what the expectation was. So, what interview is testing? How do you handle conflicting expectation and explain model behavior? What could be the demo answer? First, I would verify the accuracy of data and the model's assumption. Then I would meet with stakeholders to discuss their expectation to see if there are biases or incorrect assumptions at play. So this shows your courage, ability to talk, ability to put facts on the table. Then even if expectation mismatch is there, I would use sharp values or feature importance techniques to explain the model's behavior and clarify any misunderstandings. So what you are doing here, you are acting like a leader. What I have done here is I have taken 10 questions and I have tried to explain you the main agenda here is what is that interviewer is trying to test. If you understand that, rest everything will fall in place. Okay. So I would advise you just take this video back after this is live on the channel. I mean, upload it on the channel. See how these things will come and see how you can answer them. And I hope you enjoyed the live, guys. And I can put more of these kind of questions, or I can create a PPT and share with you, whatever. But please be ready that interview landscape is changing. The way questions will come will change. The way your experience is changing, the quality of your answers should change. So you'll always not be a junior guy, right? You will be a team lead, then you'll be a manager, you will be AVP, VP, right? So your answers should change accordingly. Hence, I want you to start thinking in these directions now. So I hope you had a good experience. Please give a thumbs up and comment if you like these 10 questions. And I'll see you in the next session or next video. And I wish you a lovely rest of the weekend ahead. Thanks everyone for your time.